Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Coco Curls, and thank you so much for stopping by. I've gotten requests to speak on my growth tips or any advice I have in terms of growing your hair. No, I will be speaking primarily on length retention, because your hair will grow. Scientifically, our hair grows anywhere between 4 to 6 inches per year, and we all go through a growth or hair growth cycle. So persons will be at different points in their hair cycle. So you have your growth phase, your resting phase, but we all go through that, and it's a cycle, so it repeats itself, right? Other factors will come into play to determine how much growth you'll have per year. Of course, that includes genetics and race as well. That will actually impact the amount of growth you get. Now, the biggest challenge I find, or I think, that we do face is actually retaining the length that we're getting. That may be impacted due to breakage or anything else that will lead to breakage or split ends or anything like that. Now, I'll be speaking on 5 tips that I personally use consistently, and this has helped me tremendously to retain the length I currently have. I actually retain approximately anywhere between 3 to 3.5 inches per year. This may be impacted by, whether I had a setback or I needed to trim significantly, but on average that's the amount I'll actually retain per year. So my 5th tip, or my number 5 tip, is actually your detangling method. Now, detangling is a process of you removing the knots from your hair. So when your hair is tangled, or when you need to go ahead and wash or style, this is you removing knots from your hair. Now, personally, I don't use fine tooth combs, neither do I manipulate my hair when it's in a dry state. Like, no. Well, I mean, it's stretched, so it's a little easier, but I'm really gentle. So say, since it's now more or less straight or flat iron, when I'm detangling, I still start from the ends and I work my way up the length of my hair. And I'll do this also when my hair is wet. So I primarily finger detangle. I mean, we're not exclusive, we're kind of dating a little, but I will mix between finger detangling and detangling with my Denman brush. And I primarily do this when my hair is also wet. This significantly, wet or damp, this significantly reduces breakage. So when your hair is in its dry state, it can be more brittle and easier to break off if you're manipulating it too roughly. So you want to really gently detangle from your ends and work your way up. Now, my number 4 tip is actually speaking on deep conditioning, which is extremely critical for any hair regimen, or if you want to really maximize your length retention. When you deep condition, you're ensuring that the moisture or protein is deeply penetrating your hair cuticles, right? Now, I know some persons who may go to stylists, they will, when they do style their hair, the stylist may just use shampoo, and then probably they may use a conditioner. Sometimes they may just do a wash and then just proceed to styling, that should not be the case. You want to always use some form of either moisture-based conditioner, deep conditioner, or a protein-based conditioner. Now, this really boils down to what's happening with your hair in that moment. you'll need more moisture if your hair, you see your hair tends to be breaking off, it feels rough. Sometimes though the breakage may be due to lack of protein. You may need to incorporate more protein in your hair regimen. So you may need a protein deep conditioner. And if you find that your hair is feeling too much like an elastic band, like it, you know, when you pull it, it kind of bounces back and then breaks off, you may need protein as well in your hair regimen. I personally don't. My hair doesn't like protein because it makes my hair really hard. So it makes my hair really hard, as well as it just feels very rough when I use protein and very hard to deal with. And even when I use a moisture based deep conditioner after, it still takes a little while to come back. So I don't really use protein that much, but depending on what your hair situation is, you may need to incorporate any of the two. So I definitely recommend you deep conditioning every wash or every other wash. So if you wash your hair once a week, include deep conditioning, or once every other week, include deep conditioning. But that really helps with ensuring that your hair has that moisture and elasticity that it needs to withstand breakage and retain the length that you're receiving. My number 3 tip is actually one that I know a lot of persons don't like to do, and I personally sometimes will forget it as well, and that is trimming your ends. Yes, you need to cut off those broken ends, the split ends. You need to get rid of them. I try to trim sometimes it'll be every 3 months or twice a year. It really depends on, and even sometimes more, depending on how my ends are feeling. You'll know you need a trim if you are, you know, combing your hair or styling your hair, and you're seeing small broken pieces of hair in your either bathroom or wherever. Small pieces of hair, as that's different from shedding, which we all do naturally. So when you have those small broken pieces, you know that your hair is breaking off, and you need to get rid of those ends. And you'll know split ends as well, because when you actually examine the ends, they are split. So you need to get rid of them. If you keep them, what will happen is that the split ends will travel further up your hair strand, and it will break off consistently, and that will just continue if you don't get rid of those ends. My number 2 tip is actually protective styling. So protective styling is any style that is really protecting your hair or your ends from the elements that be. So that will include wearing wigs, weaves, if you have your hair in twists but you mainly tuck your ends away, or if your hair is in a bun or any sort of updo that your ends are hidden. Now, of course, you want to ensure that you're not doing this in a manner that is going to jeopardize the health of your hair. Sometimes when we do protective styling, we do forget to care our hair while it's in the style, but protective styling is a great way to actually help you to retain length, because what you're doing is you are, one, protecting your hair from the elements of it, as I've indicated before, and you're not manipulating your hair that much while it's in that style. So persons may wear a protective style for anywhere between, say, a week, 2 weeks, a month. Some may even push to 3 months. But of course, when you're doing that, the takedown process of the style is even more so critical in reducing breakage that you may get from wearing the style, or even removing the shed hair. And when you're removing the shed hair, you may be a little rough and break off some of your hair. So I really don't recommend going beyond, I'd say a month and a half or 2 months. But some persons have successfully pushed it to 3 months in terms of wearing a style. I can't do that because I find that my hair will start getting really tangled, and it will be very difficult to remove both the shed hair and knots without really breaking off some of my hair. And my number one tip, which I always speak about when persons ask me what it is that I've done to retain the length that I have received, is low manipulation styles. Now this is a little similar to, say, a protective style, in that you're not manipulating your hair as much. So however, your hair doesn't necessarily need to be tucked away. So a low manipulation style, it could be twists, a twist out, braid out, it could be buns, anything like that that reduces the amount of time you have to restyle your hair in a week or every 2 weeks or for the month. I personally like to wear my hair in twist outs as well as a bun. However, again, when wearing these styles, we have to be very careful because you can have breakage, especially if you're wearing your hair in a bun consistently with your edges, if you're pulling your hair too tightly and so on. So that is something that you would have to take into consideration when doing low manipulation styles using buns. But anything that reduces the amount of time that you're styling your hair for the week is great. That's low manipulation styling. So what that does is that it's reducing the amount of time I need to actually disrupt my hair. So for example, if I get up and say I'm going to comb my hair today, so I go ahead and I might use my Denman brush or a paddle brush or my fingers and do whatever it is that I'm doing, I will inevitably get some amount of breakage. So each time you do manipulate, you are disrupting your hair, as opposed to me doing that once a week or once every 2 weeks or so. And yeah, those are my top 5 tips, and these have worked for me, and it has helped me to retain the length that I have. I did do these things when my hair was relaxed, when I started my healthier, relaxed journey, and I've continued to do it and now that I'm actually natural. So both relaxed and natural hair women can use these tips. So I hope you found this video really insightful, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know if you have anything else that you really want me to speak on. Until next time, bye. Thanks for watching.